So, back to the beginning.
Okay.
Alright, so we're just recording these now? Okay,
That's honestly probably
that's
a
much
little bit
better
better.
anyway.
Fair.
Yeah, if you record this all in one block and just post it to YouTube, I can chunk it up and split up the sections and do what we gotta do. Make it look pretty.
Fair.
One. Noticing a timing pattern?
Yeah, I was gonna say literally, like I was counting off the fares, and literally every single time it's at the same positioning. That
It's not even the fair, it's any move. As soon as he jumps, he fade backs and then does a move. No, fair. At that time was in disadvantage, but one.
Air dodging more.
He's sure have air dodge and trying to get around.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Third fair hit ever in any existence ever.
Good trap. Jumped with the air dodge. Rob was like trying to cover the roll.
Section.
That was a good mix up.
That was a hard read.
Oh, the book. Damn.
He got him twice. Yeah, no. Got him twice with that.
Oh.
That's ugly damage. Ooh.
God damn.
Okay, he's got something.
All right, so now I'm just seeing the spacing just kind of going out the window.
All right. You were just a little off, but you had the call out and the air dodge.
I mean, he just fucked up the combo. That was true.
Oh, it's true. I thought it was like a 50-50.
Oh, it's true at low percent.
Yeah. So he just started going in way too fucking hard there. Like literally, the longer it went on, it seemed like he was just trying to get in his face every single instant.
Grab. I wonder what he's looking for. Dash trap. Alright. Well, I'm starting to get punished for that, but whatever, I got it. Alright. So, like, what is this up tilt doing? Like, it actually does nothing. Wait, where? Right there. Like, sure, I assume, like, obviously if this is Wi-Fi, I assume that it's supposed to be a short hop up air, but even a short hop up air would not have done anything. Like, it would not have applied pressure to the Robin. If you just jumped, if you did a full hop, the Robin would have been forced to double jump, which they already did, I think, double jump after rewatch that. And then you would have applied a lot more pressure than just accidentally throwing out this up tilt, or just done a short hop up air.
What was that back air to?
One
Literally. Okay, so he's
down throw up air.
may have been further back or something. He was literally just coming back from the left side of the stage, and he just kind of lands with back air.
Okay, I think I see the intention for the up tilt though. I think I see the intention for it. So I think he was what he wanted to tell the Robin was, hey, you can't land on the top platform. And then by just automatically going for that fair there, he was expecting him to just automatically default to drifting to the right.
The up tilt wouldn't have hit. The Robin is not afraid at all of it. There's no positioning that up tilt is meaningful.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That literally was like that was something where your hands wanted to do the double jump up air, but you just fell down and you just did the up air, like the up air input anyway.
Or you could have just full hopped, and then now the Robin has to pit, and you can react to the option. That was a jump over. That was a proper spacing. That fair was knew you can't hit that fair. Why did you go for that fair? see it right here. Not this one. That one was bad. There was also bad.
What was that back there?
Yeah, that. The only thing I could think of is he's trying to get out of hit stun, and he just wanted to land with some sort of attack, and that's what he's comfortable doing. But like, yeah, there was no purpose. He could have thrown out something else, or just jumped.
I've been trying to AoE. Alright. He must time that, but it's kind of fair. Why that fair? You know? And he got a little too greedy. It's time to gotta recognize that like the Robin is hitting out of disadvantage.
That's another thing too. Like
That was a good.
He's landing with an attack, or he's landing with something, but when he's actually on the ground and he's not looking to dash attack, there's like hesitation behind the movement. Like he doesn't do much. And I think that's where the Nosferatus are coming from, is because he knows, okay, as soon as he lands, he's not going to push anything. He knows as soon as he moves in a certain way where he's not saying, hey, I'm going to go for a grab.
And there was like awesome.
I'm not going to do anything. He's like, okay.
Again, that up tilt. Like, why are you even trying to go for an up air there if you're going for like you can just double jump and you're doing the same purpose, except it's a lot more scarier.
Or else you can just stand there too and literally just not do anything, and straight up you have just basically created more scenarios where you can actually follow up.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no reason to do a move at all times. Like, your positioning is much more scary than your
hesitation.
And I see exactly what you're talking about too. Oh god.
And now he's gonna eventually move over to the platform. Okay, that was just a setup into it.
Stop.
He knows that he's not gonna do anything.
Oh god.
He keeps on fucking up the platform aerials too. Like he fucked up 4 of them in a row.
Okay, so
ooh, that was a hit jump for him into it.
This could just be. Some of this could just be like execution flub, and it could just be online.
I mean,
well, it's that, but there's also the issue too of like literally. So where you're pointing out like those Nosferatus, those are all working 100% because of how he's spacing all his shit. Like every single time he lands with an aerial, he's landing inside of Robin. Literally, there's not really. It doesn't even matter all that much about like spacing too, but literally like he's just there is no consideration given to how he's landing, like the spacing wise.
Okay, let's look at this kill again.
And I just want to point out this. Yeah. In what world is that down air hitting? That's just death. But in what world is that hitting? Just tell me this. What or
to be fair, I don't think he could see it because you're not streaming it and he's not in the watch together.
I haven't muted.
Yeah, but roll that back again. It's towards the end of the video. Oh.
Yeah. Literally just. In what world is that down there hitting?
Like you fared him off stage, but then he was way in front of you, and you went for down air.
Yeah, and he'd already jumped by that point too. That was the other thing. He had double jumped after the fair hit him, so he's well above you, but you still went for down air.
Like you're trying. Okay, I did this. I have this problem too. You're trying to play the game and how you perceive of what should happen rather than reacting to what is happening.
I see.
I unmuted so I can hear. But
okay.
A lot of what I'm seeing is just you assuming that something's gonna happen and then it doesn't, and then you don't react. So you gotta mix up your jump timings more.
Gotcha. So really? jump timings in neutral?
It's all around. You do your moves at a specific timing.
You're doing a lot of the same stuff with the same timing. Like your
One.
aerial, you'll jump, wait a second, and then you'll do an aerial. Or if you're gonna air dodge, you instantly jump air dodge.
Because he's trying to do a short hop air dodge.
To get through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is understandable. Like that's the
basically a
way of
get-em-roll.
getting in.
Like,
But
it's basically a slower roll.
Like you notice with Robin too, like he's seeing
he's
that
doing nairs to cover it.
yeah, he's doing like run back bears. He's throwing out a fair every once in a while. He's doing a lot of nairs. He's just getting ready for you to try and jump at him, and he's preparing for it.
And it's not necessarily that you're always like jumping that kind of stuff, but it's literally like whenever you jump, you're either jumping in with an attack immediately, you're either jumping in with an air dodge and then just possibly doing something
So
on
just finding
landing.
timings to just back off and then just wait.
Well, just remembering you don't always have to do that shit. Like
You
can
don't have to
literally-
always do a move.
Yep, you can literally
No,
just jump in.
yeah,
And you can jump
that's what
away.
I'm saying. So as in just like stand still or just like walk back or something.
Just
Well, like
anything that is not just
Anything that's not just jumping and attacking.
like that's more to your kit than your aerials.
This is before I was fixing my ground game issue. I think like part of the issue with jumping is that like I felt like I always had to commit
because jumping is a commitment.
Exactly right. So and then like just playing around more the ground game is like more dashbacks, more waiting.
See, but
and less jump-ins.
Think of it this way. All right, so you're at a poker table, right? So when you commit, you're putting chips on the table. So let's say you're doing something committal. You're putting $20 worth of chips on the table. There's no real reason that you should ante up to $50 worth of chips on the table unless you have enough information to go, okay, I'm going to take this risk. You're just putting the $50 in chips on the table right away. You're going, okay, I'm jumping, I'm committing, so I'm just gonna go the extra mile and commit harder by throwing an attack. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
It's like why would you not check if you only have like a pair?
Yeah.
So in ways, so like just to fix commitments, for example. So it mainly just to be like think about each individual action, and then like there isn't a necessarily need to commit, and if he's gonna commit first, then just focus on reacting towards what they're doing.
Okay, yeah, pretty much. That I would say like with the analogy of like the poker thing, just think of it as what is the lowest like bare minimum commitment. Like if you don't commit to anything, you're just standing there. Like, and that can work sometimes.
Like even with this, like you're giving him a lot of information that you're jumping, so he's just like preemptively throwing out aerials. You can counteract that by staying grounded, spacing around his preemptive aerials, and then punishing him.
Or empty hop, walk forward, walk back.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's another thing too. Walk.
Rather than
walk,
committing.
run. Just
Tomahawk.
Anything.
Just like you have so many options other than this. You know. The entire time I'm just watching this fight, it's just 1, 2, 1. I don't know. This very flowchart is the way I describe it. You want a certain option, you make it very obvious you want the option to the point where it's not tricking anybody.
I think part of it's just like I kind of want to say Tilgon to it a little bit because I just wanted to get a hit in, honestly, and like it was pretty obvious. Like
your entire play style is I want to get.
Basically, I've been kind of toning that back a lot more, like a lot more.
When was this set recorded?
It was recorded like maybe a week or two ago. Hold up.
Okay, so you have been working on it since then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks.
But some of this will still linger because you're not gonna get rid of all of it.
Habits don't disappear like overnight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just kind of like keep it in mind. Like keep it in the back of your head and go, okay, what can I mix up here, or what can I do here instead of what my brain wants me to do, which is what you have been doing. So it's just breaking a habit. That's all it is.
At the very least, like you got to think of it in terms: what is my opponent doing? Is my opponent falling for what I am doing? How is my opponent reacting to when I'm fair? Like you're thinking about me when you need to be thinking about that.
Yep.
You need to be thinking you.
And literally, it's one of those things where like if when you're thinking about stuff, you'll find like, oh wait, I can't just throw out things mindlessly. You have to focus on that on what's happening there. The more you focus on what they're doing and how they're reacting to it,
the less you have obvious habits.
just not do it. Exactly. Because then things are always a reaction to what's happening, not like, oh, this is just me just acting.
You're adapting to them as they're changing their strategy. So by the nature of doing that, you're not making yourself as predictable because you're doing different things in response to what they're doing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I think that's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yep.
There's a few, like, there's some miscues and stuff, but like, I don't know. I think most of it's just overarching problems rather than specific choice issues.
Yeah, so it's mainly just decision making, just like as opposed to
understanding when, yeah.
So it's also just like understanding what my opponent wants instead of mainly just why I want to go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what your opponent wants, but it's also what they're currently doing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
feel how they're reacting to you.
Because if you want to start with a fair, sure, that's fine. If you want to keep, like, fairing is inherently good for Marth because, like, it applies pressure.
Perfect thing.
But it's not his only pressure option. Like, his threat of his jab is terrifying for a lot of characters. His threat of just being near them with the ability to whiff punish them as they can is so terrifying sometimes.
Like, just the fact that you can die to that tipper at literally like 40 or 50% for most of the cast is ridiculous. Like it genuinely it's the fact that something could happen. It's not always
what's going on. Yeah, like if you watch juggling, like watch a fox juggle on platforms. Like don't like watch Larry Lur when he's on Battlefield and pay attention to how he's juggling. He's not juggling. What do you say?
What are you on? What are you saying? You're like cutting in and out.
Yeah, it's breaking up.
I can't tell if you're.
I'm not talking right now. I'm waiting for it to get back. So if you watch Larry Lur when he's on a platform, like or when his opponent is on a platform, pay really close attention to how he does it. He's gonna be like if he's underneath them, he's gonna up air them early game. See what they do. So what's your option? What's your opponent's options when? God damn it!
It is all.
Yeah, I know it's cutting in.
We're hearing like every other word.
Every other word.
Yeah. I'm trying to like. Hopefully it gets better. Okay. Gotcha. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Good.
You're good.
Okay. So basically, what I was saying, where did you hear? What did you? What did you hear?
Nothing really coherent.
Okay, that's a good start. What I said was watch Larry Lur and pay attention to how he approaches pressuring underneath platforms. He's what he's gonna do is he's gonna early percent do an action, gauge what his opponent does it again, sees what his opponent does, and then he pulls the trigger. Like he doesn't obviously do it 1, 2, pull the trigger every time, but like there's when somebody's in disadvantage, they have very few options. Like when you're underneath Fox and he is just standing there, you have few options. You either jump, you run off bear, or you platform drop. Well, like Fox can cover every option if he knows what option you're gonna pick. So like you just pressure, find the data, and now you're got the information to get a huge punish rather than a mediocre punish, even if it hits, and you don't lose stage control.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Think of it kind of like this, and I think this will be my final analogy for this sort of thing. But think of it as a virus entering a human body. So what's the virus's goal? The virus has its own goal, which is to repopulate itself. And the person, or rather the person's immune system, has a goal in itself, which is to eliminate viruses. So there's kind of a back and forth. So you know each other's goals. So now what you got to do is you got to adapt. Because what is the body going to try and do? Body's going to produce antibodies specifically to deal with what you came in with. It's going to work on a game plan to try and get rid of it. So if the virus wants to stay alive, what does it do?
Right, it has to keep
It has
adapting.
to reconfigure itself, and it has to readapt to the antibodies that the body is producing in order to stay alive and keep going. So it's kind of like that back and forth, where
Yeah, gotcha.
you know each other's goals, but
it doesn't matter because you're adapting.
the clash, how you get to those goals, is where the meat and potatoes is. Like figuring out what they like to do with that kit, and then maneuvering around that. And then once you do figure them out, and once you do get them going, they'll start reacting to you. They'll start adjusting to you. And then it's a constant game of like readapting, reconfiguring, and
it's just reaching that point where you are the one who's setting the pace of the game, letting them adapt to you, and then adapting to that as they get to that pace.
Exactly. And if it's simple, if they can't adapt quick enough, they lose. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. But other than that, that's basically all I have to say about the end of that.
Yeah,
I think these two covered it pretty well.
I think so
Beautiful. All right. Well,